Welcome to my channel Techify with Adil. So today in this video we will be discussing about planning and application deployment and upgrades and retire. So the two leftover topics under desktop lifecycle. So the application deployment planning consists of three phases. So the one is managing application inventory and compatibility. Next is packaging application, and the last one is providing lifecycle support. So application inventory and compatibility. So application compatibility can have a far-reaching impact on our organization. So you can significantly reduce the impact by adequately planning your application compatibility projects. So updates to Windows rarely affect the application compatibility, however they can happen. So most applications will function as expected when upgrading from previous OS such as Windows 10 to 11. However, there are typically always some applications that will require attention. Gathering an application inventory is the first step. So Microsoft offers a tool perform asset inventory such as Microsoft Intune Suite. For environments with thousands of managed applications, you can undertake an application compatibility project to reduce number of applications in the environment, which will reduce the cost associated. An easy immediate way to reduce the number of applications within an environment is to standardize the application versions across the organization. Newer applications might supersede many older applications that provide similar functionality, thus enabling you to remove older applications. So the first, since we know about that's very often will be an OS upgrade or newer versions or patching and all stuffs, it's always better to have a testing phase. So we do a compatibility testing for all the applications. So in that compatibility testing, the very first phase is we need to have a proper asset inventories for applications. So once we have the asset inventories, then we can contact the respective POCs or respective team to complete a testing, maybe in the test machine, or they can have a nominated machine to upgrade it and test the application. So once it's all okay, it can be deployed for the whole organization. So Microsoft offers a perform asset inventory such as Microsoft Intune Suite. So this one helps you to clear up your first phase of managing the application inventory for your compatibility or for maintaining the inventories. So application packaging and automated installation involve using silent installation commands from vendors. So you can find these commands of installation guide or even from the internet. So silent installation commands might not be available for applications that you develop in-house. So if this occurs, you will either need to package or repackage the applications if the installer package doesn't work. You can create a Windows installer package. So Microsoft AppV provides a packaging mechanism with the application sequencing it uses to create virtual applications. So this Microsoft application AppV is another way of packaging the application, deploying into the users, and mostly we can have using this AppV you can even tag the applications to the user. So whenever a user is logging into a machine, then the app will be pushed on. It's a application virtualization, so it's not machine based. It can be even user based, so most will be helpful even if you're using a shared machines as well. So next is application lifecycle support. So application lifecycle support usually involves deploying new applications, installing new versions of existing applications, and updating applications. Deploying new applications is best practice to test application for compatibility issue with the existing application. New version of existing application is version upgrade are usually significant because you might have new features or you will have earlier bugs cleared. So we still need to test those applications, ensure release occurs appropriately. Then updating applications. Updates are far more frequent and require less testing than version upgrades, because normal updating applications will not have much changes in it, meaning the kernel or background changes, so we don't need to do a frequent testing unless unlike the version upgrade, like totally you're deploying a new version of application or new mode of application, you don't need to do a very hot testing of application that doing a minimal updates. Organizations have several options for choosing how to deliver applications. So application can be installed automatically, such as during deployment or during the using group membership through a portal where users can install applications on demand. It would be best to consider whether the organization will support access to applications and data on personal devices. Most scenarios include accessing work email using Outlook on mobile phone. Still, they can also have ability to users or install line of business apps on personal devices. So Microsoft Intune. So Microsoft Intune is a suite of centralized device deployment and management tool. Customers can manage their app deployments using Microsoft Intune. Intune supports a wide variety of applications installation types. These deployments include common apps such as Office application, package deployment, LOB apps, and curation of built-in apps. Intune also supports application policies to protect data in BYOD scenarios and ensures that only devices that meet compliance rules can access application data. Maybe we can set it, for example, as the iOS version or the Android version as a baseline. So anything that passes this version only can be able to access the application, or if it is only installed with an antivirus, will be able to access the application. So we can set up scenarios like that using the application policies. Virtual application delivery. So virtual application delivery can be beneficial when the client can't run the application. Applications are installed on a server or a cloud PC and delivered remotely. So Azure Virtual Desktop and W365 can provide a client desktop experience. So these applications are excellent in scenarios where installing an application could be more practical and desired, such as providing temporary access to a contractor. So mostly this Azure virtual desktop or cloud PC, W365, you can call it as cloud PC as well. So it's all will come in place or is more helpful when we are going to have a temporary access, or you want to run some application only in a cloud PCs, not to be installed in all local PCs of the user. So in all these kind of scenarios, we can go for this virtual application delivery. So next is plan for upgrade and retirement. At some point, you might have to decide whether to upgrade or retire the company hardware. So several factors will help to guide your decision on whether to upgrade or retire the system and purchase net new. So first, you must decide whether upgrading is necessary. So base this decision on factors such as age of the current computer, the performance, cost of upgrading. We can decide whether it need to be upgraded. You will need facilities to store the systems undergoing refurnish and a place to store them until you return them to the user's workplace. So you have to upgrade the software in place at a user's workstation. However, upgrading an application to a new version requires more planning and testing than managing an update. Some organizations have procedures to refurnish used equipment and test stock items before deployment or after users return them. New employees might need fully equipped computers to perform their duties. So example, we can have a system like you're going to refurnish the department wise. So we can make it a department is refurnished, and we just issue a temporary notebooks for the users that for the time being while the refurnish is being happened. So after refurnish is happened, we do all the tests and make sure the device is working properly and all applications are running without any issues. Then we return back the refurnished notebooks to the users and get back their temporary notebooks, and the same set of temporary notebooks can be used again for next set of people who will be under the refurnishing. So each organization, based on their number of users, based on their structures, and based on the critical level of applications each users using, can have their own procedures of refurnishing or deploying the applications to them. The retirement phase is an issue that every organization must eventually face. So this phase focuses on successfully removing the system from production when it's no longer useful. As you retire legacy systems and replace them with new systems, you must efficiently complete this effort without interrupting daily organization, business needs, or end users work. Eventually all software systems become obsolete or other systems supersede them. Hardware systems undergo upgrades, but sometimes you no longer require and should remove them. Other factors that you must consider are IT professionals should perform computer pickup in a way to causes the least interruption to the user. Typically, you can do this during non-business hours by going to each department or room, retrieve the computers. IT departments usually coordinate pickup with the distribution of new systems. Like to refurnish efforts, you should also prepare computer for reselling. If systems will go to an outside entity, ensure the sensitive information stored in the hard drives or other magnetic doesn't travel outside your organization. As a part of retirement process, you should typically remove the data stored in the devices. You can make use of software tools to do this, and some machines can erase drive in bulk even if the drives aren't operational. Your organization might require administrative processing, which refers to paperwork necessary for the inventory and account for all computer equipment removals and sales. You can accomplish this with an existing inventory system. You might need to perform packaging and shipping and a loading dock area for pickups. It would be best to consider equipment's residual or resale value for accounting. For example, companies assign laptops the higher price than desktops. Some organizations give old equipment to charity and use such donations as a part of their overall tax accommodations. So there's every organization have their own way of doing the things at the retirement stage, but in common all the organization has undergo this phase of retirement, where they make sure the data is not gone outside their organization and the notebooks have been taken away from the organization or given out, or they sell it or give away. Whatever is being done is moved out of their organization. We don't need to just place it in our organization which is not being used. So all the organization with their own way of doing, they will have to clear the data, or even organizations will have the policy of taking away the hard disk from the laptops or from the desktop. Just they resell it or they give away only the devices without the hard disk, and hard disk will be disposed separately. With there are agencies, and also company can do their own disposals as well, but make sure that data is not being stored or is not recoverable from the hard disk anymore. Next is your bring your own device and unenrollment. So it's BYD scenarios. Users might either replace their devices or leave the organization. The IT department must consider how to address organization data and applications on users device. They can completely wipe a device, remove all accounts, all data and policies settings. So generally users can use their own devices, our mobile devices, to check our organization emails through that. So when this comes into place, we need to consider various scenarios, like the users also, since their own device, the users also might have their own email there, which we shouldn't be anyway it shouldn't get crossover with the company data. And since the company data is going to be now in your local device, we don't want any sensitive data to be gone out. Like we can set policies, like we cannot copy paste the thing, or we cannot download the files to the local device. So we can set up applications like that, and also we can make sure the applications can be set up in the BYD only if it passes certain policies, like having antivirus or having the updated versions and so on. So we can also have the monitoring over the Microsoft tools. Example, like Microsoft Intune, we can have monitoring over the device. Monitoring in meaning if it is being compatible, or if it's being installed with this, or is being passing all the policies, or not satisfying all the policies and settings we have required for the BYD. We can monitor all these things, and if anything is not compatible, we can contact the user or the department to do the needs so that the device becomes compatible. if in the case of the device being lost or device being locked, we can have a remote wipe option as well. We can remotely wipe the devices or wipe the applications. And also we need to consider when enrollment phase, when the user is leaving the organization or the user is going to change the device to another device. Maybe he upgraded his mobile device, so he want to set up everything in the new device. In that case, the old device, whatever the settings or applications being installed with the data of organization has to be cleared. That's a very important thing. How important is to have a uninterrupted service for the users, and it's more important to have a data removal from the users device or the devices that is being sent out of the organization.